What is up, everybody? Welcome Friday night. Happy Friday. Happy almost end of April. I cannot believe this month has flown by so quickly. Um, Lots of stuff going on in toy world, Toyland. We got a lot to talk about this evening. There was some awesome Mattel Jurassic reveals last night during the Generation Jurassic event, and also some Star Wars stuff we're going to talk about as well. And super excited because this evening I have somebody who hasn't been on the show before, but is somebody that I have kind of sort of worked with when we were doing the whole Time for Tonika campaign. And we're going to talk a little bit about that, I'm sure, at some point. So please give a very warm welcome to John, also known as the Vintage Concepts from SWTVC on Instagram. Hey, John.
Hey, Victoria. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
Good, good. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for being here. I'm looking forward to chatting about all kinds of stuff. And it's awesome that, we had this penciled in for, I don't know, a month now or something. And we weren't really planning on talking about Jurassic toys, but it just so happened that Generation Jurassic was last night in a Universal Hollywood. And it just so happens that you collect a little bit of Jurassic as well. So
Yes.
go figure.
Yeah. Yeah, some exciting stuff that came out last night, but
Totally.
yeah.
So we have a good little crowd forming here. We got Dodgson in the house. Dodgson, how's it going? Good to see you. He says a minute left. Well, we're here. It's not a minute left. We're here now. Britt is with us. Hey, Britt, how's it going? We got Paul in the house. Paul, how are you doing? We got Paul. Good evening, Paul. Thank you for joining us this evening. And cool. Good little crowd forming here. So hope everybody's had a good week. And yeah. So, John, where should we start? Do you want to start with Star Wars? Do you want to talk some Jurassic first?
I guess Jurassic is more recent. I guess Star Wars has been a little bit quiet lately, but yeah.
Totally. Let's talk Jurassic for a bit. So, I guess you don't really get the opportunity to talk Jurassic a whole lot, right? Since you're
No.
focused more on Star Wars on Instagram. And maybe we need to set you up with the vintage concepts for Kenner Jurassic Park, and that you could create all kinds of.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah. Especially
Yeah,
if they're still going to have bubbles over at Mattel, and if Hasbro is moving away from that, then I'll still be able to use my style over there. That's a whole nother topic.
I'm sure it'll come up at some point, though.
Yes.
But yeah, I won't give you extra work. I know we're all very busy with all the stuff we're already doing. Cool. So I'm going to share Collect Jurassic's Instagram. Collect Jurassic. Tim was over at the event last night. I was almost going to be at the event last night, but it just wasn't a good time. It was the middle of the week, Thursday, and just wasn't.
Was this a multi-night event, or was it just last night?
Just last night.
Okay, because I remember we were talking about. I guess it was 4 years ago. They had the 25th anniversary celebration there.
Yeah,
which looked. I think cool. that was a few nights because I know we each went, but on different nights.
Yeah, that one was I think Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or something like that. And I think I was there on the Friday, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and it was really cool. I had a good time. Saw a lot of great people in the Jurassic collecting community, and did a video, and that was a big blast.
Nice.
Yeah, I think this was a more smaller event, and still lots of fun. This was more toy focused, and they showed off a lot of several Mattel reveals, some of which we had seen, some of which we hadn't, some of which there were rumors for. But this is really our first official look at these items, at some of the items. So, all right, let's go ahead and dive in. So while we do this, if you're hanging out in the chat, let us know, what was your favorite reveal from Mattel yesterday? So looking at Collect Jurassic's Instagram, he's got quite a few of the items. So I guess the big thing, let's lead with the big thing, because this was officially announced through Target yesterday, and this was a really exciting one. This is something that we've been hoping and waiting for. If you're collecting the Hammond Collection, the Hammond Collection is basically like Mattel's Jurassic Vintage Collection, I guess, if you want to compare it to something. And although I wouldn't put in the same exact as far as quality goes, it's definitely a cut above the standard mainline. What they showed last night was something that was really exciting, and that was the Tyrannosaurus Rex for Hammond Collection. Look at that beauty. Did you order this one, John?
I missed it. I didn't find out about it until it was already sold out, unfortunately. So I'm a little bummed, but I think I will, because yeah, not to get too far into it, I guess, but I have 2 of the T-Rexes already. I had one of the versions. I just needed one to go with my collection, and then I got the one that came with the Jeep and Tim, which I think was just a repaint of the one I already had. But I mean, this one looks so good. It looks, the paint, the articulation, just the sculpting, everything about it. How could you not
Yeah.
get that? But I'm sure, did you get it right away when it went up?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I was
Yeah.
at work and I got a text and I have this friend Greg who was on, if anybody was watching last week, he was on here with us. We had a big panel of like 6 Jurassic collectors and it was fun.
Nice.
But Greg, we communicate a lot through Facebook Messenger, me and this awesome group of people. But when it's important, Greg text messages me so that I know that it's an important Jurassic thing. So I
Yeah.
actually got a text when I was at work, and I look at my phone like Hammond Collection. So I'm in the middle of work. I'm like, it's not the best time. So as soon as we get like a little break, I just go really quick and place the order. And
Nice.
yeah, because it didn't come out the usual time Hammond Collection goes online. Usually that's like 6 in the morning, Pacific time.
Yep.
This time these went up just randomly in the afternoon. It was a really weird time.
Okay. And
But
is this, forgive me, I'm not as well versed in a lot of this stuff, but is this a Target exclusive or not?
I don't know, because the Hammond Collection is also available through Amazon.
Right.
So that I don't know if this is going to be, if the pattern holds. I mean, I feel like this should be available elsewhere as well.
Okay.
Thankfully, the Jurassic stuff isn't as hard to get as Star Wars stuff. Even if the
Right.
pre-orders sell out, you can usually end up getting them anyway.
Yeah, like I missed the kitchen escape pack when that went up. But luckily I was able to find it in stores, no problem. That's kind of been the pattern for a lot of the Jurassic stuff for me. So I'll have a little patience. It's not like Hasbro Star Wars where if you miss it when it's up for 2 seconds, then you're out of luck.
Totally. Yeah, this was kind of just out of nowhere. There were rumors of this, but the fact that it's come so quickly. I mean, Hammond Collection just came out. We knew there were pre-orders back in January, or I believe is when the Baryonyx and the Parasaurolophus went out. And then, a couple months later, they ship. A couple months later, Ian Malcolm and the Velociraptor are out. And then this, they're not making us wait too long. They're not drawing it out. They're getting these out so far at a seemingly pretty quick pace. So I think this is, if only Star Wars would do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm stoked. I'm stoked for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
It does. It has glass eyes. It's got a opposable tongue. I think the gums
awesome.
Or the cheek membranes fold.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't have the rancor drool, but
no. But I mean, just look at the knees. You got those double joints at the knees, ankles, feet. Even like the arms, you can see there's like ball hinges at the shoulders and at the elbows and even at the wrists.
Oh wow.
Like, this thing looks great. This thing looks awesome.
Yeah.
I think, a lot of us have been collecting this line since 2018 when it first came out. And, although it's a fun line, they've certainly done a lot of awesome things with it. They haven't quite done anything at the collector level. I know that the Amber Collection is probably the closest thing, but that's a 6.5-inch scale line. And they didn't go very far with it in terms of dinosaurs. This time they're doing it at the classic 3 3/4-inch scale. That's the scale that, most people want to have this stuff in. And yeah, this is the first of its kind. We haven't had a Rex of this caliber. And I think this is the kind of Rex that we've been waiting for since the beginning. If you're like, a serious long-time adult collector, then this is the kind of thing that gets you excited. So I feel like this could very well be my favorite Jurassic Park like Mattel toy, just depending on how the actual final product is. I think it has the potential to be that for me.
Yeah, just the level of detail and quality that they put into it looks really great.
It does.
I was going to say, in terms of, because now I know, switching from the Amber Collection to the Hammond Collection, were you all in on Amber Collection? Were you?
Yeah, I have the whole. I got a shelf with all of them on there. The whole lineup. I wasn't necessarily excited to buy all of them, but I was being a completist and I was buying all of them.
Yes, I know all about that. So yeah, so I mean, obviously, and we'll talk, but with the vintage stuff in Star Wars as well, the vintage scale, it just works so much better for world building items like this. Like you buy for Amber Collection, you get 3 or 4 of those 6-inch scale dinosaurs, 6.5-inch scale dinosaurs, and it just takes up so much space. But with this scale, you can just do a lot more with it, obviously. So I'm glad that they've really recommitted to the 3.75-inch scale for Jurassic collectors.
Yeah, and the great thing about Hammond Collection too is, it still interacts because it is the same scale with any of the previously released dinosaur or humans vehicles.
Yeah.
So that's one of the really cool things about it. So yeah, this looks really cool. I'm stoked. Like this, I feel like if depending on how deep they go with this, Hammond Collection expression line, I feel like I could potentially really downsize what I bought over the last 4 years from Mattel and just kind of have this is more of the focus in my collection. But we'll see how far they end up going.
I was wondering about that because I already have so many of like the basic dinos because I really focused on the first movie for a lot of my collection, and now that they're getting into the Lost World with the Roland Timbo pack and the Sarah Harding pack, kind of inching towards that, and then a few from all the other movies, but now that they're kind of replacing them with better versions, it's like, do I need the old ones? It's it's always a collector conundrum of they make a better version of something we already have, but yeah,
totally, yeah. Yeah, that's the thing of it. Ideally, I guess they would have started this, from the beginning, but it's been like with any toy line, I guess it's a learning process, and they kind of learn what sticks, and I think they finally found it. So Hammond Collection for me is like the most exciting thing, and I've been pretty close to completeness with the whole Mattel like mainline. I mean, they've made a lot of stuff, but I bought pretty much everything since 2018. Just because it was in 2018 a breath of fresh air. It was something that just had never happened before to this capacity, and the way Hasbro treated the line in 2015 was disastrous. So that was really like pumped people up, and I just kind of went all in on it. So for the most part,
I was wondering because like I know like when we talk about Star Wars stuff, there's so many repaints and so many tooling reuses and stuff, but I know it's the same. Sort of the same for Jurassic. They have so many dinosaurs, but obviously you'll get them in a ton of different colors and stuff. Like I have, I know like in Amber, in any of the collections, they do the raptor in one body, then they repaint it for Owen's pack, and then all the other different variations and stuff. But I guess they can. I don't know.
They can. Yeah, they can. They have plenty to work with at this point. Luckily for Mattel, dinosaurs are just that kind of thing that you could, potentially do them any color under the sun, and have something people will buy because it's different.
You
can't do that with Star Wars. Exactly.
I don't know what color the dinosaurs were. I'll buy them in any color rainbow. Why not?
They could have had pink and yellow polka dots. I have no clue.
Yeah. Very fashionable dinosaurs.
Yeah. I mean, why not? But yeah, this is cool. Lots of articulation, really nice sculpted detail, great paint. I'm stoked for the T-Rex. I think it's gonna, and going by the measurements too, I should mention, it looks like it's gonna be the largest 3 3/4-inch scale T-Rex they've done. It's gonna be 24 inches long. So definitely bigger than any of the other ones they've done in this scale before. So that's gonna be pretty awesome.
Do you think it's closer in scale to the ones to Rexy from the movie? Because I was always, when I was getting my first T-Rex, I was trying to figure out which one, the thrash and throw, or which version was closest to scale. And I know, in movies they kind of do what works for the shot, but I don't know. It'll be cool to have regardless.
Yeah, that, so Mattel, like the first one they did, the Extreme Chomp, and this was the Legacy Collection one, and this is the one they based countless repaints on. It's a little undersized, I think overall. It's a little bit undersized. The ones that they did for like the main Fallen Kingdom line, for the Dominion line, and like this guy right here, this is the latest ones, the Thrash and Devour. This is closer in scale, I think, to the actual film.
Okay.
But based on the dimensions of the Hammond Collection, it's going to be even bigger than this. So. Okay.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
That'll be awesome.
And and the price only $50, which is, not to always compare it, but obviously, as you can see, obviously I'm a big Star Wars guy, but it's to come in at that price when so many other companies are raising prices or talking about how they can't bring
Yeah.
it in at the right price for Mattel to come in and a giant T-Rex, all the
It's
paint, all the
insane.
articulation. Yeah. I don't know how they do it, but
Yeah, $50. And I've heard that the Jurassic license costs the second highest out of all the licenses. Star Wars is obviously the most expensive,
mhm.
but I've long heard that Jurassic is the second most costly. So
Okay.
I don't know what Mattel does differently that allows
Yeah.
them to offer this stuff at such great prices. Like even the Brachiosaurus, that was
Yeah.
$50 and it's huge.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
And even though that's not as obviously it doesn't have the articulation of the Hammond collection, but I have that and it makes such a great centerpiece for the collection.
mhm.
Um,
Yeah,
so yeah.
I don't know how they do it. I mean, I've heard things off and on that sometimes, it's possible they may own their own warehouses or their own, factories. Possibly, I don't really know for sure. So that would, definitely allow some of that flexibility in pricing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know what it is. But I'm not going to complain.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
going to complain.
Just they could share it with some other industry rivals. Oh wait, they probably don't want to do that, but
Cool, cool. So I'm going to take a look here in the chat and see what's going on, and then we'll look at some more of the reveals. We got Jurassic Dave in the house. Hey, Dave, welcome. Good to see you. Dave was on our panel last Friday.
nice. Hello, hello.
Dave, how are you doing? And then let's see. We also have Wilson hanging out with us. Wilson, how's it going? Playing the arcade game over there.
Nice.
Britt says, so far I've not collected Jurassic, but the Hammond Collection is tempting me. Yeah. I think the cool thing about Hammond Collection is it's a really good jumping on point. If you've been ignoring Jurassic
Mhm.
for the last 4 years, and you've been waiting for that higher caliber of dinosaur, human figure and stuff, like this is the time to like get on board and get into Jurassic.
Definitely.
Dodgen says, bring out the Hammond Collection beauties. We'll continue doing that in just a second. Justin, hello, says, looking good and been playing a lot of Jurassic World Evolution, not a collector, but love the movies. Right on. I wish I could be the kind of person that didn't collect. I mean, I was just, the movies are great. That's all I need to worry about. The games
Yeah.
are great. I can just play the games. But no, that wasn't my path.
It's an essential part of the experience. Come on.
Yes, yes. Pico B1 is with us. How is it going?
Hello.
Good to see you. And we got Toys Are the Way in the house. You're not late at all. You're never late to social hour. We're just glad that you made it. Alex, welcome. Good to see you again. Classic Source, how are you doing? Good to see you here. Yeah, and the Rex looks phenomenal. It truly does. It truly does. Very, very, very nice. I'm really excited for this T-Rex. And I have all the T-Rexes, but this is the one.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be the one that, one Rex to rule them all.
Yes.
All right.
So since they've had some great electronics in their packaging, with the shaving cream can with Nedry inside and that kind of stuff, it's the Hammond Collection. When you open the box, he needs to say, "We have a T-Rex."
That'd be cool.
I'm gonna do it if they don't do it, so that'll be all right.
Yes, you should, and then you should let us see it.
All right.
All right. So other Hammond Collection. So this is what else was shown. So the Gallimimus is one that they had it on the stage. They were showing it off, but we didn't get like a really, really good look at it. This silhouette art does show a little bit more, and so that is the Gallimimus right there. I think the Gallimimus, the first time they did in the Legacy Collection in 2018, was like one of the best things they've done, even up to this point. I have a really hard time imagining they can top what they did with the Legacy Gallimimus, but I hope to be proven wrong. This looks really good too. It's going to be more articulated, no running action feature, which I thought was cool.
It's fun, yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited to see what this turns out like.
Yeah. How many are you going to get though? Do you build multiples to build out the scenes?
Well, with the Legacy one, I think I bought at least 9 or 10. And yeah, like with this one, I don't know. I mean, I have to see what it looks like.
Yeah.
I'm totally content with the other ones, but
Sure, yeah.
it may be the case where, it's just OCD. Oh, I have 10 regular Legacy ones, but I don't have 10 Hammond Collection ones. And then I'll have to
totally different. You just push those
Totally
guys to the
different.
back of the shelf and put these ones in front, you know.
Totally.
But
So we have a Dilophosaurus. You can see the silhouette of that right there. And that's nice. I think that was probably the best when they did it in Amber Collection. I think it was a really nice figure.
that's the
So they just they
oh,
just
yes.
take that and bring it down to this, 3/4 scale. I think it's going to be perfect.
Does
Perfect.
it look like it has? Does it have the frills down in this image, or is it just the side and we can't see them?
Yeah, it's down.
Okay.
The amber one, or the Hammond, amber one, I'm getting confused now,
Yeah.
came with both. It was interchangeable. You could
Yeah.
pop the head off and put the other frill on. I
That's
think that
the
this is gonna
yeah.
do that too.
That's the only
I'd assume.
Amber Collection dinosaur that I got. I got that, and then I got Nedry was the only human that I got, just to have them displayed together. And that was before they put them out in the Nedry Escape Pack. But yeah, that's a fun figure. They both are. But
Oh, it's great. They're both great. Yeah.
yeah,
So we have a Triceratops. This is for me, other than the T-Rex, I think Triceratops is probably the most exciting. And I actually prefer Stegosaurus. Like if they did a Hammond Stegosaurus, I would be all over that. But they haven't really done, I feel like, I'm sure a lot of people hanging out with this would agree, they haven't done a Triceratops that is accurately sized, accurately proportioned. Essentially, the one Triceratops they did in 2018 is the same one they're doing now. They just keep repainting, retooling it with new gimmicks and stuff. And it's certainly time for a brand new, like definitive Triceratops. And from what I've seen in the chatter, it seems like this is maybe looks a little too small according to the silhouette. Is it going to be the small? I don't know. It's just the black outline silhouette. It could be bigger. Either way, it'll be nice to have a new Triceratops that gets us closer to what we all envision as that definitive Triceratops toy.
I want to, for accessories, obviously, I want the big pile of what, but it's probably not going to happen. But it'd be nice with all the articulation of Poser on her side and, the heroes checking her health and everything. It'd be a little fun diorama.
That'd be really cool. That'd be really cool. I actually have one of those it's called Nanmu Studio, and they are,
Oh, nice.
yeah, so they made a really nice one. It's not a toy. It's just like a little statue, and it comes off the
Oh,
base.
nice.
But
Sweet.
yeah, but if this one could do that, you could get into that pose, you recreate that scene,
Yeah.
that even better,
Yeah.
Have you picked up the Parasaurolophus that's in that image yet?
I have not. I've seen it a couple times, but I was kind of going quickly through Target and didn't get the chance to. So all I have from this line so far are Ian and the Velociraptor, which I just opened them today, and they're great. We can talk more about them as we go, but don't have it yet. Do you have that one though?
I do. I love it. I love it.
Nice.
It's one of the ones I had with me last week, just sitting here because it was so great, and I was just showing. I love it.
Yeah.
It is in Jurassic Park at the very beginning of the movie when they're like looking at the Brachiosaurus. It's out in the distance, you can see them, but we don't really see it very well until the Lost World. So I don't know if it's based more on one over the other, but it's gorgeous. Like this is like for me, like this is like a TVC quality type dinosaur. Like I love everything they do with the Parasaurolophus is top notch.
Okay. And again, back to the price, because these are only, the basic ones are $14.99, and that and the baryonyx are $19.99, right? Or maybe $1 or $2 more depending on which store you're in. But it's incredible what they're able to do for that price. Like I've been begging them to, I really want them to bring back Beasts and Vintage Collection with, people say no, they would never be $20 again. They would, those days are long gone. But again, whatever magic Mattel's doing, they're able to get them out there.
They're doing something.
Yes,
The only one I don't have yet. Yeah, the only one I'm missing is the baryonyx. I don't have that one yet. I have it on pre-order, but I did see it at Target once. It was like a week or two ago. I did see it, but the jaw looked a little bit like you could see like the little middle hinge in its jaw. And I didn't know if that was normal because it's the only one I'd ever seen. I said, hey, I'm gonna wait. But yeah, that's the only one I don't have. I have all the others so far, and I'm pretty content with it overall as a line.
Yeah. I got the legacy. I'm gonna mispronounce this, but Parasaurolophus. Parasaurolophus. Excuse me. once we get to the Star Wars, that's my area of expertise. But I got the smaller one with Roland Timbo, and it looks cool. But I'm excited to get the much larger one from Hammond Collection. And then
Yeah, that's a
in
neat
terms
set.
of and are you happy with the other figures? Because I like them so far. Like you said, they're not quite TVC quality, at least the Malcolm figure. But
Yeah, I'm pretty content with them, honestly. The Raptor in particular, I
yeah,
think
it's really
is a
nice.
lot of fun. It's basically the Amber Collection figure, just smaller. And only real gripe I have is I feel like the mouth is a little weird. The teeth are a little blunt, and like it
Yeah,
has these really big like gums, or the lips
yeah,
are really big. But I can't argue with the price. I feel like if
yeah,
Hasbro was making this figure, it'd be at least $20,
yeah.
maybe more. I'm really content with it, and I have like 6 of them so far.
Nice. Yeah,
Um, I just love them. They're a lot of fun, and
yeah.
they're
They
very
got
posable.
a lot of personality
And
in the various poses and stuff.
yeah, I think they stand more easily than the Amber Collection ones too, because they're lighter.
Yeah,
And Malcolm isn't that great to me. Honestly, I don't think it's that much better than
yeah,
the mainline one from a few years ago.
yeah.
The arms look a little odd. I don't know how you feel about his arms, but I kind of think they look like ankles. His
It was
wrists.
my big gripe with his arms is that he can't hold the flare that well because his hands are like this kind of. At least his, with the sleeves rolled up, so it's not really like posed to hold it that well. So it keeps popping out on my sample. And then the one with the jacket, which he's not wearing in the scene where he has the flare. Um, they're really, the hands are smaller or something. So it's just the compatibility with the accessories could be better. And
Yeah.
normally I'm not huge on alternate body parts because I end up thinking that they just kind of lie around on the shelf or whatever, and it looks kind of macabre. It looks like somebody got their arms ripped off. But for Jurassic, it works because you can give it to the dinosaurs and
Mhm.
say, "Oh, this is a half-eaten person" or something. So
Yeah.
something I do appreciate that he has the swappable arms for the jacket look and stuff. But
Hmm. That
yeah,
is a nice touch. I think the jacket does. It looks a little bulky when
mhm,
he's wearing it, but yeah, the accessories thing is weird. It is kind of strange that he doesn't hold the flare.
yeah,
Um, so I don't know if it was an afterthought to include. It's the same flare they've always used, so I don't know if it was
yeah.
just something they didn't plan on. But
And then
either way, what do you think of the knees on that figure, though?
it's interesting. I don't know if he needs the double knees. I mean, it's got a great range of motion if in case he wants to do like a high kick or something. In
Yeah.
case he learned some gymnastics from his daughter or something. Not really sure, but yeah. What do you think? I appreciate that they're pinless and stuff. It looks really nice.
Yes.
My issue,
Yeah.
I have an issue with his legs, but are the knees good for you?
I've
You like
never
them?
seen, I've never seen that kind of a knee on a 3/4 inch figure that I can think of.
Yeah, yeah,
And it does look very seamless. And, I guess it's better that a figure be over articulated than under.
yeah,
So I'll take it. I mean, I just wonder why his elbows don't flex, like a full 90
yeah,
degrees.
yeah.
So
Would have been nice.
it is a really weird figure. There's some really neat things about it, and then there's some things that are just kind of, big question mark. But
Yeah, like on
hopefully,
on Black Series and Marvel Legends, they're kind of moving away from the double jointed elbows and knees to just have deeper cuts, at least from what I've seen. So it's interesting that they're going with the double joint. Um, and my other issue with his legs is that he doesn't have a thigh cut, but he has the not quite ball jointed hips. But it's kind of the same hip articulation as the Legacy ones, right? Um,
yeah, pretty similar.
yeah,
Pretty similar. Like the legacy ones and the mainline ones from the past didn't have wrists. So at least we get
right,
wrists.
right, yeah, yeah,
Um, but yeah, it's a little bit better than the previous figures, but it's not like groundbreaking for me.
yeah,
It's a little better, which I guess better
mhm,
is better ultimately, but it's
yeah,
still quite not like you said. It's not the vintage collection for sure, not by a long shot.
yes, yes,
It could be,
yeah, yeah.
and maybe a few dollars more it could be, but it's
It,
decent
it,
enough, I suppose.
yeah, it's close. And then with the Amber collection, the likenesses were always a little bit off for me. I think maybe I'm more forgiving at this scale. It's still not perfect, but it looks better to me. on a figure this size. So yeah, I don't know. I do wonder, are there rumors for the next human they're going to do? I don't know anything about that, but
Yeah, so I don't know if Tim has the picture, but in this pic where this came from, there is a silhouette also for Dr. Alan Grant and for Dr. Ellie Sattler.
okay,
So
cool.
those will probably be the next two that we get.
You got to have the three original heroes.
You got to have the three at least. And thankfully, we finally have Tim, we finally have Lex.
Mm-hmm.
There's John Hammond. There is I know he was an exclusive, but there is a Ray Arnold figure, and I presume they're going to release him in the main line at some point as well.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have Roland Timbos. I mean, they're really fleshing out this 3 3/4 inch line. It's taken a long time. It's taken all these 4 years of this toy line, basically.
Yeah.
But at least, you could pull some of those other figures, and it looks similar enough that they could totally fit. It seems
Yeah,
like, based on Malcolm anyway.
And again, not to always bring it back to TVC, but some people say they need to all be super articulated, TVC quality. But it's nice that there is the super articulated Jurassic line and the more basic line. So do we need a super articulated Hammond? I don't know. Apparently Amber Collection didn't. That's why he went to clearance so often. I don't know. But yeah, the fact that they work together, both lines, is nice to see, and it fills out the shelves nicely.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, Hammond Collection looking good. I'm really excited for whatever they come out with next. And if they keep continuing, with the quality of the Parasaurolophus, the Raptor, what the T-Rex looks like, I think we're going to be in for some pretty nice treats over the next year or so.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's see what is happening here in the chat. So Britt says you got to have more Gallimimus to put them running in a herd.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Dodgson says, I plan on buying 2, one for display and one to scalp people on eBay. Okay. And I know the JK is there, but all right, Dodgson. You are Dodgson after all.
That's
So
a very Dodgson-like thing to say.
It totally is. Alex says he found Parasaurolophus by Target. Very cool. Toys are the way, considering picking up some of the dinos for my TVC quill to ride, since
Yeah.
we still need a blurg. Yeah. We got Mary who's joined us. Hey Mary, good to see you. Paul says you need at least 5 Raptors, and we got Josh in the house. Hey Josh, how's it going? Woohoo Hammond Collection. Yeah, Hammond Collection. I think that's the big thing we're all excited about, is everything they're doing with Hammond Collection. So we'll see what they have next. I'm sure they got more stuff up their sleeves, and I'm excited to see what hasn't been revealed so at this point in time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's look at some of the other reveals that they showed the other night. So this is a character from the new movie Dominion. This is Kayla. She comes with, I don't know what that is. I was making jokes about this last night. It could be any number of things. It could be a curling iron. It could be, I don't know. Plenty of things. Maybe it is a shock baton or something. I have no clue.
Yeah.
But more characters, awesome. I like to see more human figures, because Mattel basically ignored human figures in the main line for the better part of 3 years after Fallen Kingdom came out. So that's cool. What about this one, John?
Oh, sorry. In terms of humans, did I freeze? Did you freeze? It looks frozen.
You're good for me.
Oh. Are we back?
I think
back. I went away. I think I was frozen in amber for a second there.
I didn't notice anything.
Okay, good. I was going to say, with the human characters, because at least for the Fallen Kingdom era, a lot of them were kind of, I guess, single carded. Some of them would have little compies or smaller dinos or something. But it seems like, so pretty much now they're always released with, outside of Hammond Collection, they're always released with a larger dinosaur at this point, it seems like, right?
Yeah, so they did Camp Cretaceous figures recently in the last year or so, and some of them came with compies, but some of them came with bigger dinosaurs. I think they all came with a little bit of a bigger dinosaur, like smaller, big dinosaur, like raptors, Monolophosauruses, things like that. But I think one of them did come with a couple of compies that were unique to that figure.
Okay. Nice.
But you know, I got plenty of this because I bought the legacy ones time and time again just to have
Yeah.
multiples. I knew that the Explorer would be coming. You know, we had the Jeep, and you know, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna need a figure, you know, an Alan, an Ellie, and an Ian for this, and this, and this. So I bought them multiple
Mhm.
times over,
Yeah.
especially when they hit clearance.
Yeah. I only have one of each. You know, that's all right. I'll get them again when they come to Hammond. But
Yeah, you'll get better versions when they get to Hammond.
yeah.
So this one's exciting. Did you pre-order the Stegosaurus set?
I did. Yes, I was excited about that. Sarah Harding. You know.
Yeah.
That,
This is another one. Like I honestly, and you know, people asked me this for a while, you know, if I thought they were going to ever do Lost World. And I was like, no, they're not going to touch Lost World. But when they put, you know, Roland up for pre-order, it's like, whoa, it was a shock to me. I couldn't believe that they would actually do that. And,
yeah.
you know, now we have Sarah coming. So that's really encouraging. I don't think they're going to stop here. I think they're going to keep going if they're, you know, coming this far. So.
Yeah, I need a Vince Vaughn figure, no matter what franchise it's from. Come on, make it happen. I guess they could retool Malcolm to kind of look more like his Lost World appearance, I guess. They keep putting out Malcolms in every size and scale, so I don't see why not.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this is fun. The baby Stegosaurus looks great. You know, I have this bigger Stegosaurus because it's basically a retool of the original one from 2018. So again, it's not really something that I was clamoring for. But I will say the paint looks nice, even if it's not 100% film accurate. But I'm waiting for that Hammond Collection one because I think that's where, you know, they could potentially do like a film accurate Lost World Stegosaurus. So if they do that, I can totally forgive this.
Yeah. It's a good stopgap, but
I wish that the log came with the set. I don't think that log comes with the set.
That's what I was going to ask because I'm not sure. I pre-ordered it so quick I haven't gone back and looked at the pictures. I knew I needed it. I didn't get all the details though, but it's got the awesome package with her mobile command center, whatever you want to call it. Sort of some of the things.
Packaging looks great.
I was getting rid of a lot of the packaging on the original stuff, but now I haven't opened a lot of the recent diorama piece sets, I guess, that have the cardboard, you know, backdrops. They just look so good. It just adds so much to the scene that it's like, okay, what do I do now? But
yeah, the packaging looks great for this set. I hope they actually do the RV set at some point, like an actual play set. But
yeah, it'd be awesome.
I don't know. We're still waiting on Jurassic Park gates and fences and stuff. So
yeah,
time will tell.
What else can they do from Lost? Oh, sorry. What else do they do from Lost World? What else do you want to see from the second movie if they keep going down this path?
I know some people have been asking for like a Dr. Malcolm. You know, if they did that, that'd be cool. I mean, depending on how far they're going to go. I mean, will they do like Kelly Malcolm? Will they do Eddie Carr or, you know, Dieter Stark or any of those other like characters that are a little more not front and center? I don't know.
Dieter's the one that gets killed by all the compies, right? Like over and over again for 20 minutes of screen time. Yeah, put all the compies back out with him. Why not? And when they bite his lip, oh my God, that's just so painful. But
yeah, I mean, they could keep going with it, you know, for the next year and just kind of, drip them out every now and then. But we'll see. We'll see what they do. But you know, more Lost World, sure, I will certainly take it. I guess a few other things that they showed off. There's a new Maisie figure coming with a couple of dinos. So this is Raptor Beta. They already came out with that figure, so it's not really like an exciting one. She actually comes with Owen in one of the recent story packs, as they call them. But the Lystrosaurus down here is brand new. We've never seen this in the Mattel line before, so that one is actually kind of exciting.
Oh, cool.
Beyond that, they did show a couple of concepts. So this is an Ampulosaurus. I think this is going to be more of that $20 price point. Action attack is what they usually call those. And they also have a Siamosaurus coming as well. And that looks a little bit Spinosaurus-ish. But I think it'll be that $20 action attack price point as well. So pretty neat. I don't think either of those are really groundbreaking or anything, but
It's nice to see it's coming.
it's nice to see that they're coming. Yeah. So that basically, I think, sums up what they revealed for at Generation Jurassic. So some cool stuff. But I think the consensus is the Hammond stuff is the most exciting at this point.
Yeah, for sure. What I really want is the figure that I really want from this franchise is Jimmy Buffett from Jurassic World with little margaritas holding them as he runs away from the dinosaurs.
I would buy
get
it.
that in the Hammond Collection next, right? Come on.
We need little margaritas packed with our figures.
Yes.
Be a great accessory. All right, cool. So what do you say we switch gears over to Star Wars?
All right, let's do it.
All right. So what's going on with Star Wars lately, other than plastic-free packaging?
Yes, that's the big controversy right now. Of course, the Marvel team didn't know what they because you and Tyler talked about it on your podcast a few months back, and it was a lot of people were hoping it wouldn't apply to Star Wars, or we get an exemption or something, but
Mm-hmm.
there's no official word, but one by one, all the brands are saying no more plastic packaging after next year. So
Yeah, that's for sure. We got somebody agreeing with you there.
yeah, Mika, what's up, Mika? How you
Our
doing?
friend John's with us. I like his logo.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. Did you do that one?
I did not know. I don't know. I'm not sure who did. Looks good though.
It looks good. Yeah, it's. I think a lot of us had that wishful thinking, like even when we recorded that podcast episode, that it was like, well, if they do this, then it'll result in this. Hopefully, they won't do it, but now it sounds like they're going to do it.
Yeah.
Shoot, it's. There was an interview that Toy Bro did with the Marvel team, I think yesterday or the day before, and Toy Bro, another friend of the channel who's been on the Social Hour before, and they said that we could anticipate spring 2023, about a year from now, basically, when there's no more plastic in the packaging. So if that holds true for TVC, then potentially a year from now, what we know and love about TVC, it could be forever changed. And what we find on the pegs, if you find anything on the pegs, is going to be plastic-free vintage collection packaging.
Well, the good thing about that is we'll still have plenty of Landos by that point, so we'll still see that plastic packaging.
We'll still see
shelves.
them. Yeah.
Yes. So they're not totally gone, but
no one's ever really gone.
Yeah. But yeah, it was interesting because people bring up like the Black Series Rancor that they were going to do, which I guess would have been for sale this year, but would have been shipping spring 2023. So like, because that's part of a larger, obviously it's not happening, but theoretically they were trying to bake that in. So like, can they do them as part of larger sets, or do they have to? Is there a cutoff date when they have to stop selling plastic? Or
yeah,
I don't know. Because as I said, for a lot of people, obviously I'm a big opener. I have at least one of everything open, and then for vintage, I was not a carded collector until Vintage Collection came back. Then I started to get them, and I have an entire wall full of them. I don't know. Do you get them carded, the TVC figures, or do you just open everything?
Yeah, I do. And that's something I started with TVC 2.0, because the first time around, I opened everything, and I always did that, except during the Power of the Force 2 days. I somehow, as an 8-year-old, however old I was at the time, I had the willpower to not open a lot of stuff.
Wow.
But then it was like eventually, yeah. So, but yes, I do collect at least one carded, at least one. And then I open one, and then oftentimes I'll buy more than 2, 3, 4. It just depends on the figure. If it's something I really love, then I'll buy multiples. Yeah, I mean, that it's that classic, timeless packaging that has been, frequently mimicked, never duplicated, that, draws everybody to the vintage collection. And, when you're putting that in jeopardy, I feel like that's really like a testament to, how much you as a company value that expression. So
yeah. And I mean, yeah, like you said, so many other companies like Super 7 nowadays, they're still pumping out their reaction figures. I mean, they're $18, so I don't really go for them too much, but they look cool. It's still the same, dimensions and style of the Kenner card. Even if it was, a brand that never had that look back in the 70s and 80s. Kind of even Hasbro's doing the same thing with the Marvel Retro, which I also collect. They're all still in boxes, unfortunately, but I'll figure out. I'll get a wall one day to put them on. I don't know when that's going to be, but they'll look great when they get up there. But
If only rooms had more than 4 walls, right?
yeah, seriously, like, can I get them on the ceiling, or like, get a glass thing to put them underneath to still walk on? But I don't know.
Some people do them on the ceiling. I have seen that before on Instagram.
Nice.
I don't know how they do it, but they do it.
Gotta find space where you can. But
yeah,
I don't know. So it's personally, like I said, I've been collecting since like 1997, or I was a kid at the time collecting, I guess. I've seen packages come and go, and I've loved it all, and opened most of it. Obviously, TVC means the packaging of the figures means a lot to people. It means a lot to me.
right.
It's it's hard. It's difficult, but and everyone's upset. People are still hoping it's not going to happen. I don't. Maybe we'll find out next week at the May the 4th Hasbro live stream. I don't know. That's not really a celebration kind of thing to talk about. Or speaking of celebration, they'll probably people will ask them at celebration. I'm sure people asked them in the Q&A a few months ago, and it was very much, we don't know. We're still thinking about it. Still talking about it. Don't have
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if they weren't going to do it, they'd probably just say they weren't going to do it.
Yeah, I mean, they're gonna do it, but
yeah, it's always
when
the
that hammer,
scripted,
yeah,
right? It's always
sorry.
the same response. It's
Yeah.
the response. I don't even need to repeat it. If you watch any of the
Yeah.
Q&As, you know what the response is. So it's like, I feel like it's going to happen, and I don't think there's anybody that really doubts it's going to happen at this point. But I'm thinking in my head, what could they possibly do that would not result in like a mass exodus of people walking away from
Yeah.
TVC that are carded collectors, or at least buy, extras to keep carded.
Yeah.
And I can't think of anything they could possibly do.
Well,
I really can't.
I'm keeping a list of things on what they could do, because as the host of the SWTVC podcast and frequent guest on your podcast, Evan, he loves to say happy beeps. So what can we do? Unfortunately, it seems like it's happening whether we like it or not, and I don't think most of us like it. But I think, because TVC, the heart and soul of it is the carded figure, but there are so many other expressions that are already plastic-free packaging, like the play sets and the vehicles, even if they don't do that many of them anymore. And of course, those new Army Builder 4-packs and the new deluxe expressions, which might, I don't know if that was sort of a way to test the waters of how people would react to the plastic-free stuff. So I think if they invest in those, I think it will, keep people coming back, or, if it's a smaller pool of people, we'll be spending more on each purchase. Maybe if there's a higher profit margin on some of these items than on a basic figure, I don't know. But like we were saying with Jurassic, it's hard not to look at some of these $20 beasts and say, why can't Star Wars do that? People have been asking for a blurg since Mando season 1, 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. They had the $25 vehicle and creature line up through all the movies. I think they had one too many Rathtars packed in after a while, or Ezra's speeder over and over again. But I think there's things they can do to expand that it's not the figures of the heart and soul, but there's more to it, I think. So hopefully, I don't know if they'll be trying more. I hope that they would try more things like that to, keep people coming in. I don't know.
Yeah. So you're saying focus more on all the other stuff TVC does and not so much on the main figures.
I mean, we'll keep the figures coming, and I think, on that, focus on the quality and the articulation and the paint and the sculpting and the details have never been better than they are now. So obviously the packaging is also another huge part that people love, but if there's absolutely no way out of it, no way to squeeze around it, if we're getting squeezed by the trash compactor, but R2 is not going to turn it off, unfortunately, in time. Let's. I don't know. I don't know what to do. They're in a bind.
Yeah,
I'm sure. I'm sure the Hasbro Star Wars team is probably not thrilled about this either. I don't know, because it came up from high above everybody's pay grade a few years ago when they announced this.
Yeah, I mean, they really jumped the gun with the whole thing. I don't think there was an explicit need to say, "Oh, all plastic packaging is gone." I don't think that needed to happen. I think they should have used the vintage collection as an example of what very close to plastic-free packaging looks like, because there's already very little plastic in it when you compare it to Black Series, to Marvel Legends, to other stuff that they do. Like, oh, this is the vintage collection. It uses very little plastic. This is our goal. We want to do this or less. And then you get rid of packaging for the 99% of the other stuff and just leave that one thing.
Yeah.
I think if they would have taken that approach at that point when they announced this, that, we'd still continue to be able to enjoy this kind of a thing, the TVC classic as it's always been. But because they were adamant, obviously the people that made this decision, didn't care about TVC or the history of it or anything like that. They just, weren't thinking about that at all. That's kind of what the situation is. And I really regret that that's the situation, but, I think they need to show us the packaging, whatever they're thinking, they need to show it to us. We're just going to keep speculating and talking and, worrying about it. Maybe it won't look as bad as we think it will be. They just need to show it, or maybe it'll look worse. They just need to show it to us.
Yeah. What are you hoping it would look like?
So I know that anything they do that's plastic free already, it's basically like the deluxe figures that you were talking about. The figures are in the box and they're wrapped with like a paper band or paper twist tie of some sort. And then they have like a little cardboard fastener sometimes. And then they have like a little bit of tissue paper, that kind of thing. So I'm trying to think of how you can apply that to TVC. I think the only thing you could really do is you make like a little coffin out of cardboard, and then you have the figure fastened in there. All the accessories are behind it so they can't get stolen, but the figure still would be exposed. And I think that's a big thing none of us want, is for figures to be exposed. Anybody in a store could go and pull their heads off. Anybody could go and, when they get shipped, they get tossed around and stuff. I think you'd have to enclose it completely if you wanted to minimize any damage, but then you get to the whole, I can't see the paint on it kind of thing. I keep imagining those comics that, they were doing for a while, where they'd put like a vintage card and put like a comic character in where the bubble would be. I keep seeing that in my head when I think of plastic-free packaging. So I kind of feel like it would just be a picture of the figure, and you'd have to open it to get to the figure. Yeah,
that could be likely. I mean, they did something very similar for the value 6-inch line. Like there's a new wave with Bo-Katan. It looks like the other ones, which I sad to say I do have that line. But let me go get it actually while we're talking about it.
Yeah, go for it. We'll look at some of your 6-inch figures.
Yes. Well, this is 5.5, whatever. Forgive me. This is how
whatever it is. I think they're exactly 6-inch. I can't remember measuring them before.
Okay, but yeah, they kind of fit in with Black Series. But like, so on the new ones, it's like instead of the plastic window, it's like everything else about it is the exact same. Not that anybody's like really in love with this packaging to begin with, but then it just has like, it's all cardboard and it just has a picture of it, like a rendering of the figure in there, which so they could do something like that for TVC, I guess. I don't know, but like you said, with the tampering, I know like the Transformers, some of those new ones have like an open window with no plastic window, and if you really wanted to, you could pop Megatron's head off or whatever, kind of like they did for all those Space Jam figures that everybody was making TikToks about a few months ago. Everybody was just taking the heads off, which is not ideal, obviously. And then there's that other a 6-pack of those value 6-inch figures, and they have just completely open packaging. And I've seen people on Instagram posting pictures of like people just stealing the Grogu because it's just easy to take out. And I've seen some like Spider-Man No Way Home figures a couple months ago. They had multi-packs of those, and there would be like 8 figures, and you'd only see 7 out of the 8 still there because some kid would take out Mysterio or one of the 12 Spider-Men in that pack or whatever. So there's no perfect. I mean, the perfect solution already exists, but they don't want it. They don't want that anymore. So
they don't want the perfect solution because it's
yes,
perfect.
yes.
Yeah, so there's an interesting idea here from Paul. He says, sleeve outside of the coffin for protection, a sleeve that can only slide so far. I'm imagining some of the Black Series like convention figures they've done, like the Dave Filoni figure and the Cad Bane one, or no, the Armor one, where it's like in a box and it has like a bit of a spring to it because of a rubber band, and it does come out a little bit, but you let it go, it goes back in. They could do that, but I can imagine like theft or like you're saying heads coming off being an issue.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't seen a whole lot of, like, somebody in the comments mentioned Fortnite is also the same. And I think maybe it's deeper. Maybe it's harder to get some of these pieces out from there. I don't know. Like with the Space Jam stuff, it was just totally out in the open. So you didn't have to work that hard to pop the heads off. But with like Fortnite or Transformers, it's a little bit more difficult. Maybe. I don't know. I know I think the Transformers change is fairly recent. So I don't follow them that closely. So I don't know if that's been an issue yet, but it could be. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or like they said, and like some stores, they just have the entire toy section behind glass. So maybe they could just do that in every single store. And
yeah, that wouldn't work.
I don't think
I can't imagine Target doing that. Like, I don't think that's a Walmart thing. At some Walmarts, and not all Walmarts.
But and like you mentioned, people worried about the paint apps in store. Like I haven't been able to compare paint apps in the store for years anyway. So I wish that was a thing, but actually I did when I was getting some of the Eternals Marvel Legends on a deep clearance a couple weeks ago. I was able to compare some of those, but that's a rare occurrence these days, unfortunately.
Yes, it is very rare. Except if you're Lando, like you said.
That's true, yeah.
So Toys R the Way says, I wonder if there could be a mainline plastic-free release, but also the option to order collector card figures through Pulse. Yeah, I don't think they would do that. I don't see them having 2 separate runs of something just to change the packaging and so that a small percentage of people can buy it. It'd be nice. I just can't imagine them doing that.
That's kind of similar to when Walmart ships figures and they're all totally mangled and they're in bags and tissue paper boxes. People said, okay, well, what if some of them were in a collector case to ship out separately? And then it was like, well, they can't really do 2 separate runs of an item. I don't know. Would be nice. And I know Miko had some comments up there of another set or
Yeah, HasLab. So HasLab figure dream pack with plastic blisters as a tier unlock. $26.49 a figure 5 times a year. I mean, I love the idea. I wish that was a possibility, but I think if they're saying plastic-free packaging, I can't see how it wouldn't apply to everything. I hope I'm wrong, but if that's the decree coming from the top, then I just can't imagine them making some exceptions. And I mean, they should obviously, but I can't imagine them doing a HasLab and then that turns into a PR thing. Oh, look, they said they were going to do plastic free. This has plastic. Like, it would just be a thing.
Like, yeah. And then they could do more of the box in the box stuff, like, with Merrick's X-Wing. That's why I bought 2 of those. Or, like the Bad Batch set, except just say the presentation, the packaging is part of the product, and, just put them in a big brown cardboard box or whatever. And then,
yeah.
I don't know.
Pico B1 says every scenario scares me so far. Yeah, totally. I mean, there's no I can't think of anything good they can do. I mean, short of making the bubbles glass, which they're obviously not going to do. Yeah. You can still see the figure. That'd be nice, but Yeah,
Do you like?
it
Oh, sorry.
yeah, I just I can't imagine what they can do, really.
What do you think of the deluxe figure boxes so far? We haven't gotten any in hand over in the States, I don't think, but
No, I haven't either. For a deluxe figure, they look fine. I wouldn't want that as the main line.
yeah.
Especially at the price, I wouldn't want that as
Oh
main
yeah, no,
line.
not the price. Yeah, yeah. Hopefully not the price, but
But yeah, they're nice for what they are. But I like the vintage collection is the vintage collection because it's the vintage collection, basically. It's based off of a very specific aesthetic. It's based off a very specific thing that existed at one point in time. And if you start switching that formula, you turn into new Coke. Like you're not the same thing
yeah,
anymore. So is it still
yeah,
the vintage collection? Like I mean, maybe in aesthetic and in theory it still is, but it's just the whole thing is so convoluted. Like there's yeah, it just really like frustrates me. Like this is something that could have easily, if there's anything that should have the exception to this whole plastic free mandate, it is the vintage collection because of what it
mhm,
is. The packaging is part of the actual product, and collectors
yeah,
often treat it as such. Not everybody, of course, but collectors treat it as part of the product. And the only way that I see you get around that is you continue to offer it as it is. You say this is the product, and then you put a sleeve over it, and then
mhm,
that's the packaging. It's a cardboard sleeve. Okay, plastic free packaging. You have a little sleeve over it,
yeah,
and then that's it.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. Just say that's part of the figure or something. Um, there's a comment and about blind box figures, and Disney is dipping their toes in that water with the droids, the Disney Parks droids, which I had some friends that went and they bought. There's a limit of 5 that you could buy, and I had asked my friend. I said, like, just you and your wife, just get me. If I can get 10, then hopefully I can get all 6 figures out of that 10. But then he had the other 2 people buy them as well, so I ended up with 20 of those droids, and I still didn't get all 6 of the droids, though. I will say that, but it was their way for me to buy a whole bunch of extra, packages to get what I wanted, which I still didn't get what I wanted. But and in 2013, I think when they started to do the 5 POA line, with like a bunch of Revenge of the Sith and Attack of the Clones figures, when those movies were supposed to be out in 3D but then weren't. Um, Over here in the States, they had them on tiny little cards, but in Japan, they had them in blind boxes. So they had them on like, I don't know, you buy them at drugstore counters or whatever, and there'd be 15 in the box, and there's 15 different figures. I don't think anybody would be thrilled about that, but if they could do like army builders or something that way, or more droids, if Disney didn't have a way to do it, because like Lego's doing that, Funko's doing that. I thought Super 7 had done some, like I said, like the aliens or something, different colored aliens. Not ideal, but it could be something, a way to, if you had it like, here's a wave of clone troopers. You don't know if you're going to get a 501st or a 212th. That could be sort of a fun way to do that. I don't know. Maybe throwing it out there. Don't hate me too much, everybody. But I'm just trying to see what they could do, if there's no other way. I'm sure they're all frantically doing the same thing over there in Rhode Island, but hopefully not now. It's midnight over there, but who knows?
You never know.
Yeah.
There's other companies using it and paying homage to it. The Super 7 Reaction, NECA 2. Yeah. I mean, like we said, often imitate, and never duplicate it. It's a very, very specific look. It's a very specific thing that exists. Paul says thinner plastics for cosmetic look. So I think that's referring to something somebody else said about using like a thinner plastic. And, the thing is they're saying is no plastic, right? It doesn't matter if it's thin plastic, thick plastic, no plastic. They don't want to have any plastic in packaging. So it's not going to be packaged. I still think it's just going to be the card. And, I'm sure you could draw this up way better than I could. It's going to be the card, and it's going to be just a little cardboard coffin with a picture of the figure. I think that's all it can be, really.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very possible.
I think that's what we're going to see when they finally show it to us. And, whatever it is, whatever they end up doing, the real thing we need to look at is how it's going to affect the line, right? I know a lot of us are saying, or there's been a lot of polling. John's done polling on, or the other John Miko's done polling on the Facebook group, and you guys have done it on SWTVC to look at the impact. And the numbers are a bit frightening. I know that Chris wrote an article in Bantha Skull about this as well, and it's a little frightening. What the actual numbers look like. But I know at the same time, we've often said, oh, we're not going to buy this, or, if they did this, we wouldn't buy that. And, people still get caught up in FOMO, and they still get caught up in not wanting to, in the whole collect them all sort of thing. And, so I don't know, that'll be the real test, if the data is accurate and people do walk away from buying the level of figures that they do, then that's obviously going to really have an impact on the line, and it probably eventually is going to lead to a negative outcome. But I guess time will tell.
Yeah, I mean, some characters, like people that have gotten the new deluxe Boba Fett, and like you see it in John Miko's Facebook group, people's reaction to that figure, they're like, "This is the best vintage collection figure I've ever gotten. This is the greatest thing Hasbro's ever done," and that doesn't have a bubble. I assume the Dark Trooper is going to sell very well, that they pipeline at the last event. And they mentioned that's going to be a world building set, which is their code for deluxe, and $5 more than the rest of the line. But again, I have to imagine that one's going to do pretty well. But is this only going to be for like super A-list characters like Boba Fett and Darth Vader and stuff? And then army builders, is it going to hurt some of the... We're not getting a ton of secondary background characters right now anyway, but is this going to hurt them even more? I guess, again, it's something that we're not seeing a whole lot of. But someone like the Mythrol or Queel or Bib Fortuna or Lobot, I don't know.
Yeah. We'll see. I know we're kind of on a bit of a downer here with this discussion, but so
it'll be fine. It'll be fine. But like you said, every time they raise the price $1, everyone says, "I'm out, I'm done," and then they keep buying, and then every time
keep buying. Yeah.
Yeah, you and I have seen many package changes in our lives, and we're still here. But
yeah, I mean, honestly, would I mind so much if the quality of the figures themselves continued to evolve and be what it's been the last couple of years, and every figure looked like Ahsoka or Lando or Maul or whatever it is. Would I mind so much if they brought back like the Legacy Collection and brought back the Build-A-Droid? They'll never bring that back, but if they did something like that, like I think, like on paper, in theory, I think I'd be okay with that. But I'd hate for, after all the work people put into the TVC coming back and it being, what it is, it'll never come back. If they change the expression now, we're never going to see it again. So it's either going to be, I think, getting used to the new expression and buying it, or just giving up and either quitting or, being okay with moving on to something else. I don't know. I legitimately don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I wish I could say the same way forever, but like Jason said in those articles, you can't stop the change anymore than you can stop the suns from setting. The wise Shmi Skywalker, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Who doesn't exist in the vintage collection?
Yes. And some of these characters, like we always on SWTVC, we'd talk about, finish the 96, and Hasbro's brought that up. It's like, what are they going to do for those? Like, do we even? It's going to be a real kick to get somebody like, I don't know, Count Dooku. We've been wanting he's not a finished 96, but we've been wanting Count Dooku in vintage collection for so long. Or some of these Cantina aliens or Jabba's Palace characters that aren't made, like Hammerhead or Squidhead or somebody. If they just miss the cut and they get on the all cardboard, packaging, it's going to be a real downer. But
it is.
Anyway, yeah.
Sorry, we need to lighten the mood. We need to lighten the mood.
I'm sorry. Yes.
Let's all right. So speaking of figures that have never been made in the vintage collection, I want to share a little something here just for a second.
All right.
So I mentioned that we kind of collaborated on something before, and you produced these awesome, I know it's a really small image, but you produced this awesome, these concepts for Bria Tonika and Cine Tonika for the vintage collection. This is the petition, time for Tonika. You give fans of Tonika Sisters. We are at 1463 signatures. We're almost at 1500. So anybody who is hanging out with us this evening that has not signed, we're almost at 1500. Go ahead and sign. There hasn't been a Tonika petition, to this extent that has gotten this many signatures. So, we want to keep getting signatures. And with May 4th coming up, maybe we can, push for 2000, but we want to get 1500 first. So time for Tonika, you guys. Hashtag it, say it, tell your best friend that doesn't care about Star Wars at all, like I do. And, hopefully we get that going again, because we want the Tonika Sisters in TVC.
And we just did the last month, I guess. We did the March Madness over at SWTVC on Instagram, and they ranked really highly. I think it was 16 or something. Don't quote me on that. It's been a while, but there's still clearly demand for them. Like every time I watch the Cantina scene, I check off all the characters. They made 90% of the characters, even if they weren't up to TVC quality, but still no Tonikas.
Yeah, still no Tonikas.
If they do them in, now that they're starting to dip their toes in 6-inch, I'm not even going to go there. If they do them in 6-inch first, I will cry. But I guess they'll mean that they're coming to 3 3/4 after that. Hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's a good way to look at it, right? That's kind of a little bit of a barometer. If they do them in Black Series, is that a good indicator for TVC? Probably.
Like Superstars, for instance, one in each scale. That would really be fun. Knights of Ren style. Why not?
Knights of Ren style. Oh my god, that would be the worst. You get Cine Tonika in Vintage Collection and Bria Tonika in Black Series. Yeah, that would.
I'm sorry. Yeah, we even spoke that into existence.
Yes, shame on you, John. So John Miko actually did an article too for Bantha Skull when we were doing this campaign, and suggested that they can reuse. I'm already forgetting the names from this movie.
Zori Bliss.
Zori Bliss from Rise of Skywalker figure. And I know that these characters, the sisters, they were models, right? So they're super tall. They're like, I've stood next to Angela, and she's well over 6 feet tall, and I look like tiny compared to her. But so I know that Zori Bliss would need to be bigger. But I think at this point in time, honestly, like if that's what it took, I think a lot of us would be okay with that.
And they're different heights, so would you be okay with them using the same buck body?
Yeah, that'd be the other question
at this point. Yeah,
I mean, they could always do what they did with Luke Stormtrooper and use a shorter torso on one of them, I guess.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, there's ways, but yeah, I mean, maybe this is just a pipe dream for me, but I'm still banging the drum for the Tonika Sisters. I still want it to happen.
Yeah, it's obviously you're leading the charge valiantly, but there's clearly a lot of people that do want them. Like I said, we got hundreds of lists that came in, and they were ranked very highly. It's one of those long-term things of the Galoob action fleet figure just isn't cutting it.
Right.
As we have Cantina is very nearly complete.
Yes.
Come on, guys.
Yeah. The Cantina, there's only a few aliens that are characters in there that are so prominently shown that have not been done as characters. Arliel Shus is one of them. And the Tonikas, too. It's like, yeah, and we see them in multiple shots. It's not just one shot like most of the aliens in that scene. So, fingers crossed. Keep signing the petition, guys. We'll keep spreading the word, and tell your best friends, cousins, dog that they need to sign. They can put their paw print on it. But the more signatures we get, the better off we'll be.
Yeah. They need to do. They just, with the celebration panels being announced, they just sort of casually announced the Tales of the Jedi animated anthology show, which. We don't know exactly what that's going to be, but it brings to mind the old tales from the Mos Eisley Cantina book and Jabba's Palace and Bounty Hunters and stuff, which I started reading the Cantina one before Book of Boba Fett in the hopes that it would relate somehow, and it did not at all. But there's that little story about the Tonikas in there, which that was in the era where there weren't really the Tonikas because somebody else said they were twins, but they weren't clearly were not twins. and they were the Ducal and the
Yeah.
something like that. It was a whole thing, but yeah, if they did an animated anthology about the Cantina characters, that could bring them to the forefront and get more people,
I think
more
that's it.
familiar with some of these characters. I don't know. And then
That could be
figures,
what it takes.
yeah,
Seeing them in some sort of current media. Maybe you bring them into Mandalorian, or
yeah,
something. I mean, it's not a problem for them to use the characters. How Lucasfilm owns the characters. It's just
yeah,
producing like merchandise and one of them's image. I guess that's the issue. So they can recast, and then you base the figure off of that character. Would it be ideal? No, but I think maybe that would improve the chances of getting the original release based on A New Hope as a figure.
yeah.
If they were brought into current media in some capacity. And the whole issue aside with legal issues and stuff, I think they'd be pretty cool to see, honestly. I mean, I
Mhm.
can see how you wouldn't like two like gunslinging twins coming into like some scene and like that look like the Tonika Sisters. I mean, that to me that just sounds
Yeah,
kind of cool.
yeah. And like again, I'm just reading what Supersaurus Rex is saying because you're on point tonight. But it says they might appear in Obi-Wan because clearly by the time of A New Hope, he's been to the Cantina,
Mm,
he's been to Mos
mm,
Eisley, he knows it, he knows the reputation. So who knows? They might show up there.
that'd be awesome. Maybe that's the opportunity right there to
Yeah,
finally
yeah.
make it happen.
If they make any figures from that show, I hope they do, obviously. But
Yes.
coming up on a year on Bad Batch, and still we got the background guys, but
I mean, you got Clone Captain Belast or Hauser or one of
yes,
them.
yeah, yeah. Clearly the most important character from the show. So why? I'm good on Bad
Yep.
Batch. That's all we need.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know a lot of people want those and they want Rebels. I mean, if it's going to be one every 10 years, focus on other stuff for me. Like,
Yeah.
I'd love to have them, but
Yeah.
there's other things I think probably are going to take precedent for me. But
Sure.
that's just me.
That's all right. That's all right.
Cool. Well, John, any other Star Wars focuses you want to bring up?
Just getting excited for Celebration. Are you going next month?
I will be there on the Saturday. Yes.
Okay, nice. Yeah. I bought my tickets way back in Chicago. I was there with Evan, and thought it would be a couple years ago, but obviously it did not pan out that way.
Right.
So still very excited to go there and see all that stuff. Yeah, wondering because Hasbro's going to have, like we said, their panel on May the 4th, their live stream, and then a panel at Celebration a few weeks later.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm interested to see what they reveal there.
Totally. And let's make sure and pester them too about stuff.
Yes.
Cool. Well, I hope I run into you there.
Yeah, for sure.
And yeah, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of cool stuff to see. I know Saturday there's like the Mandalorian panel, and I usually even for like Comic-Con, I don't normally do panels. I just mostly go to look at toys and merchandise and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think for this I'll try and get into some. I'd love to get into some. I think I'm doing a lottery this time.
Yeah, have you been to the other ones or any of the other ones?
The last one I went to was Celebration 4, and that was in 2007.
Okay, yeah, in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Because they kept growing and growing, which was nice to see. But at a certain point, like for the one before The Last Jedi in Orlando, it was to the point where people were like staying overnight, like every night, to get into the big panels in the morning. Because this is before they had the lottery system, and I stayed there a couple nights. Like I said, the first night to get into the big 40th anniversary panel with George Lucas and Harrison Ford and Mark Hamill and John Williams and like all the heavy hitters, and I did not get in, even though they said that everybody who was in that room staying overnight would get in. They just oversold it or something. So in the Chicago one, and I'm so glad they're doing it again, they had the lottery system, so ahead of time whether or not you get in, and the soul crushing disappointment comes early, then you can go live your life and look at all the fun stuff to buy there. But
Sure.
Yeah, so excited about that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and I know they have a lot of characters and actors appearing. Are you playing on any the autographs or photos or anything like that?
No, I know that like Ewan McGregor is like $300 for an autograph, which is,
And he sold out the first day.
Yeah.
Well, for the picture, I don't know if his autograph is still available. The picture sold out like really quick.
How much was the picture? Was that more on top of it? I'm sure.
It was $100 more of whatever the
Okay,
autograph was. Yeah, so
that
a
would be
lot.
awesome. Yeah, because he never shows up to these things. I know with Obi-Wan, it's the Obi-Wan show. It's more relevant right now than
Mhm.
other times, I guess. Are you getting any?
Not yet. Not yet. I
Yeah.
don't know if I will. I may. I mean, it's just like some of them are very pricey. And
Yeah.
it just depends on who the actor is, right? And some
Hmm.
won't sign, like if you take a figure, some won't sign like anything that's not two-dimensional.
Oh, really?
So yeah, so
Oh, wow.
maybe
Everybody's got their rules, I guess.
everybody's
Um,
got their limits.
over the years, I think like back in the day, I got Billy D and Peter Mayhew. And I got later, I got Ray Park and Tamora Morrison, which they still haven't announced him. Maybe he's just busy playing a different clone in every single one of the shows coming up or something, but I'm sure he'll be there.
Could be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited. And
Yeah.
I'm way overdue for a celebration. I go to Comic-Con
Yeah.
pretty
For
much
sure.
every year, but celebration I am way overdue for. So I'm looking forward
Yeah.
to that. And I know there's gonna be a lot of people we interact with online there. So I'm really excited
Yeah,
about
for
that too.
sure. I'll have to meet up with everybody.
Yeah.
Um, and then I saw that. So Comic Con, they're doing that again this year, right? A friend just said that they said that they are going forward with the San Diego one. Is that
Yes.
is that true? Are you planning on? Yeah.
They are going forward with it in a somewhat modified form, I guess, because they are going to have like pandemic sort of things in place, protocols.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I've been holding on to those tickets too for 2 years, so
Did those carry
or
over
3
also?
years.
Okay.
Yeah,
Jeez.
so I'm ready to use that.
Yeah. I know because they've tried some things like the online stuff, and it'd been nice to have Hasbro doing their online panels every few months. Nothing really compares to being in person, and getting to pester them in person. But
Yeah, it's you never know what's going to happen. Honestly, at these things like Celebration 4, that's the one where I like ordered hot dogs with Carrie Fisher on accident.
oh, right, nice.
um, And yeah, at a Comic Con I think the one where Justice League came out, I ended up just kind of walking down the aisleway, and I look right next to me, and Jason Momoa is right there.
Oh, wow.
So, like things like that, you just never know. Like all kinds
Yeah.
of things can happen. But yeah,
One of
it's
the
the surprising, unexpected things that are the most fun.
yeah, for sure. I think the 2010 Orlando celebration, I was at Disney World with my family, and I had to use the restroom, and I was washing my hands, and I looked over, and my heart stopped. It was George Lucas was washing his hands like 2 sinks down from me, and I was just like, I didn't know what to say. I was like, this has got to be a cosplayer. This cannot be actual George Lucas. And I just I let him go off into the crowd, and I was like, I don't know what to say. My family will never
Yeah.
believe me. They were doing their thing in the restroom for a second, but I was like, oh my gosh.
It's
Yeah,
tough. Like, I mean, I always think to myself, oh yeah, sure. If I run into somebody like that, I'm gonna ask them for a photo, or I'm gonna ask them how they're doing. But
yeah,
like, you really do get like kind of freeze up because I think
yeah,
there's just this unexpected like disconnect. Like you just can't really process it right in that moment,
yeah.
and
So
it's not
some
until
little,
after you're like, darn, why didn't I do
yeah,
something?
yeah,
Um, but so yeah, I totally know what you're talking about.
yeah. Like I've seen this person on a screen or like on behind the scenes things for years. It's like you feel like you know them, but you really don't. And it's crazy. Yeah,
It is. It'll be a good time though, and hopefully we get some nice release announcements for products. So
yeah, yeah. I doubt there'll be any because Obi-Wan the show is premiering during Celebration. I don't know. They didn't say anything about a screening there. Um, so are we gonna have to stay up till 2 a.m? Everybody that's going to the celebration and then be all groggy the next day to watch it? I don't know to avoid spoilers, but I hope not. But hopefully
yeah,
then, yeah, hopefully Hasbro will have some Obi-Wan stuff to announce then. They would probably do it at the show, probably not this week, but we'll
yeah,
see.
we'll see. We'll see what they do. Either way, this May is going to be the biggest May for Star Wars since 2005. You've got
Yeah,
May the 4th, you've got Celebration, you've got Kenobi. Like Star Wars hasn't been this big in the summertime, I don't think, since Revenge of the Sith. So
yeah,
a lot to be excited about. Our woes about plastic packaging aside, there's a lot of great stuff happening, and we focus
Yes.
on all the other stuff, and just kind of forget about that for a little bit. There's a lot to be excited about for sure. Oh no, we froze. And that is the thing. We are live.
Sorry, am I
and
frozen?
anything can happen. Now you're good. Now you're
I'm
good.
back. All right. Whew.
Yes.
I was in carbonite.
Hey,
Previously, I was in amber. Now I'm in carbonite.
Nice. Yeah. That's the thing about being live. Anything can happen. An
Yeah.
earthquake could happen. I hope it doesn't, but it could happen.
Yeah.
Actually, it happened a few weeks ago, and some of my figures fell off the shelf.
I'm always surprised because I've lived in Southern California for about 6 years, and I'm always surprised how few figures fall off during an earthquake, because we get, at least in my area, we get about one a year ish, maybe not even that frequently. I remember one when I had the barge set up, and characters were like doing dives off of the barge, and like Leia, she was on the chain that Jabba was holding, and she was like barely hanging on, but she was still swinging outside the barge, which was kind of funny. But
that's funny. Yeah, yeah, you're right though. It's surprisingly not a ton of them fell. Like only a few fell, but it's just funny. Like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Only for you, Chaz. So yeah.
Yeah, only for Chaz. The rest of us, it's free. If we ask nicely.
Yes.
Well, cool. So, John, let's talk a little bit about the vintage concepts. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing over on Instagram.
So yeah, so I need to do more of them, but on my page at the Vintage Concepts, I post concepts for figures that I want to see in the vintage collection, and I do them themed. So very slowly working through the Book of Boba Fett. So I have a couple more to post up. Yeah, but before that, as you see, was Revenge of the Sith. Yeah, there's my Cad Bane concept.
Oh, that's cool.
That's rad. Thank you. So I try to do some things that like I think would be easy for them to get out, like both that Mando and that Darth Vader would be great repacks to do with maybe some different deco. That Padme would be great. We need more Padmes in the line. I think the only vintage one is the episode 1 Queen Amidala. So
yeah, and the episode 2 one in the tan and orange outfit, or tan and purple outfit, Attack of the Clones.
Okay.
Yeah, not a great figure.
Oh yeah, right. Her the packing, the peasant one that they didn't repack when they repacked Anakin. That's right.
Right, for who knows why, but
yeah.
Yeah, no, the one that's still near the top of my list right here, and this would be a perfect like card image.
Yeah, Kira.
Yeah,
just that awesome cape when she's walking down the ramp, and it's just such an entrance.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's a moment.
She's another big omission from the line. But
here's one that's coming true.
Yes, even on a Battlefront card, but he's a little more dynamic on the Battlefront card than on the solo card. But
right.
I love that look. At the last celebration, they sold like a short sleeve version of that shirt, but it wasn't quite the same. If they had that, I would wear that every day probably.
Yeah.
By multiple
scissor punch
and stuff, but yes. Some of those wacky aliens that they don't do as many of as they should.
That they don't do as many of, yeah. Yeah.
The ARC Trooper is coming out luckily soon, or already there if you're in England, I guess. But
yeah, and I think there's rumors of this one happening too.
Yeah. That one was a fun one to do. It was a Rogue One image, and then I photoshopped him. I put the Kashyyyk mountains in the background, and then it was a live. I didn't want to use some of the low res 2008 imagery from PlayStation 2, but I added some colorization on the armor. That was a fun one to do. It was similar to the colorization. Thank you. It was like the Tonikas, because a lot of the behind the scenes images are just black and white.
Exactly.
So it was a fun challenge to do that kind of stuff.
For sure. And Starkiller says fans make better card backs than Hasbro. And I think oftentimes that is the case. It really is.
The first one I did on the page was Bespin Leia, the first one I made. I don't know if it was the first one I released. But I remember, and I'd sent it to Evan when I was like starting to do it. The first image I picked was her. Yeah, you can see it's a couple rows up. But the first image I picked was her under the Falcon. Like, because I was like, oh, it'd be a cool action pose. And then I just looked at it, and it was like so dark and muddy, and it just did not read, and it didn't look good. And then, of course, that's what they actually used for the actual figure, unfortunately. But
that's funny how that worked. Yeah, that one was a very peculiar one because it is an action pose like you say, but it's very dark and
Yeah.
I think it could have been lightened up a little bit, but
Yeah.
yeah, this is a much nicer image right here. I think that would have looked a little bit more elegant.
Even if it's a behind the scenes image or, a promo shot or something, it just, there's so much light
Sure.
coming in on Cloud City. You don't pick the one time it's at night, but
Right. Yeah, it's nice Obi-Wan spirit.
thank you. Yeah, we need more.
Yeah. How many of these have you done, Evan? Or sorry, Evan. I was getting that time of
Evan's
day.
probably done more than me. Yeah.
John.
But
Sorry.
it'll say up top, but I've also, I think 100 something for this page. And then I've also done a bunch for, what does it say? What am I at now?
142.
Okay. And yeah, also, and then I do a bunch for the SWTVC page, and they don't always make it here, but they should. They're all my babies. I love them all. But
yeah, they're great.
Thank you.
Yeah, they're awesome. And I've done a few over the years, but
Yeah.
I don't have the consistency that you have, or the like you're yeah, awesome.
Well,
They're all awesome, and Hasbro should use most of these because they're so good.
thanks. But yeah, it was a fun, especially during the early days of the pandemic, and when like Bantha Skull's petition to raise awareness for the vintage collection. It was like, I really don't want this line to go away, the scale to go away. I guess the bubbles are going away, but we already talked about that. But what can I do to just kind of show in a visual format like Instagram, what I want to see in the line, what I think would be cool for the line. Yeah, but sometimes it takes me longer than others. It's been 2 months since Book of Boba Fett ended, and I'm still not finished with the 9 from there, but more are coming.
Right on. So I hope everybody that, for whatever reason they're not following you on Instagram already, does that. We do have links in the description, so they can do that already. We also have a link to SWTVC. And John, tell us a little bit about what's going on with SWTVC as of late.
So that's the group. There's 5 of us. You've probably heard Evan or Tyler on your show before. Well, you have, but I mean, listeners. So yeah, last month we did the big March Madness. So this month we've been taking a little bit of a breather on some stuff, but still, Tyler and Lewis usually do a lot of the photography submissions. So still focusing on awesome shots from the community. Today was Faction Friday for the Scum and Villainy. So they got some great bounty hunter shots up and stuff like that. Yesterday was Retro Day. Yeah, sometimes I'll put together the TVC wish list Wednesdays. It was focusing on all the figures that are in Black Series gaming grades, but not in Vintage Collection, which is shockingly a much larger number than I think any of us want, unfortunately. Didn't have time to get the Fallen Order one up, but with some new rumors, it's the picture could get a little smaller soon, hopefully. We'll see. So yeah, we're going to have some fun stuff planned for May. I think we have the podcast that it's very similar, kind of supplementary to your show. We'll be back. We'll be back soon on May the 4th, I think.
Nice.
Fun stuff for that. So yeah, keep on over there. So
right on. So yeah, definitely guys, follow SWTVC, follow the Vintage Concepts, links in the description. Click on them. John, this has been a blast. Do you have any final thoughts you wanna impart before we head off into I was gonna say sunset, but the sun is already set
a while ago, yeah. Here in Southern California. I'll say, if you haven't heard enough of me, Evan is doing another podcast that I'm a guest on for the first few episodes, at least. It's called the Sacred Jedi Texts Podcast. It's on Instagram at Sacred Jedi Texts Pod, where we're going through Master and Apprentice, the 2019 book, and having a lot of fun doing that. So yeah, kind of, I don't just talk about toys, though. That's 90% of what I talk about in my life. So if, yeah, it's fun to talk about that as well. But thank you for having me, and hopefully I didn't embarrass myself too much with my lack of Jurassic knowledge.
No, I would never have known a difference either way. No, awesome.
Great.
No, thank you, John, for being on, and let's do this again sometime. Lots of fun.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
we'll get you on one of the other podcasts as well one of these
Yeah.
days.
Definitely.
And just one thing I want to leave off on here. Can we talk about bee wings
Oh
again?
yeah.
No, we're not going to do that. This was a long, like, it's kind of turning into a running gag now. Like, why are they called bee wings? So yeah, they should be called tea wings. That's all I'm going to say about that. Tea
Yeah.
wings. But
Summer, we
it's
talked
on the
about that a
shelf.
little bit. Yeah. Yes. Yes. We
It's
could
on
use
the
another
shelf
B
now.
wing. We could use another repack of the B wing. I'll say that though.
Yeah, it's a nice vehicle. It is
Yeah.
nice. I had never had a B wing until recently, and I really like it. I really like it.
I want the orange one from Rebels. An easy Rebels thing to get out is just repainted in orange,
Yes,
like the one that Hera flies. Maybe finally put Hera in there. I don't know.
we'll see.
One day.
What, your 5 POA hair, you mean that you already have?
Yes. I do over there somewhere, but
Yeah, I have it too somewhere.
yeah.
Not on the shelf, but I have it because
Yeah.
you take what you can get sometimes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, John. Thanks to everybody who's been hanging out with us here in the chat. It's been a lot of fun. I hope everybody has a nice weekend. We'll catch you next week. We'll be talking to Dan Larson from Toy Galaxy. So I'm sure it's going to be an enjoyable chat. And all right, no matter where you're watching from out in the galaxy, thanks for tuning in. Be safe, be well, and we'll catch you next week. Bye, everybody.